Hey everybody. So in this week's Parshat Lech Lecha, we're introduced to Avraham. And the first thing Avraham is told by Hashem, by God, is to leave his birthplace, leave his land, leave his father's house, go to the land that God will show him, which is Eretz Canaan, the land of Canaan, which eventually became the land of Israel. That was promised to him, and it became our homeland. However, the Torah narrates that soon after he gets there, there's a famine in the land, and he has to leave Israel. And he goes down to Egypt. And he goes down to Egypt and he confronts difficulties and issues over there. Because Egypt isn't the most moral society, and as he approaches, he senses that they have a real low level of morality when it comes to treating husbands and wives and women in particular. And they know that they will abduct his wife Sarah, kill him, unless he kind of pretends his brother-sister act, in which case he'll try and buy the sister from the brother. It gets discovered, but it puts them in a very, very difficult position. And based on all this, the commentaries looking at this story are up in the air a little bit about whether Avraham should have left Israel when there was a famine in the first place. You see, God tells you to go to a place, you rely on what God tells you to do. Go to Israel, there's a famine, there's difficulty. Okay, but he told me to go here, so I'm assuming that he'll bail me out somehow, and it'll work. The other side of the coin, the other part of the argument is, no, Avraham wasn't wrong to leave Israel, because we have a principle, Ein somchin al hanes. We don't rely on miracles. Perhaps that was part of the whole challenge. Go to Israel, you think it's going to be hunky-dory, fantastic. God tells you to go to a place, you think it's going to be paradise and great. Doesn't turn out that way. You got to survive, and so that's part of the challenge, and he goes into Israel. The other side says, oh, look, you see, he got difficulties when he went into Egypt, and so that's a sign that he shouldn't have left. The point here is there's no right or wrong. We have a principle when it comes to the forefathers and the foremothers. Ma'aseh avotzim and lebanim. Whatever happens to them is a microcosm of what's going to happen to the Jewish people for all time. The basic lesson here is Kinyan Eretz Yisrael, getting the land of Israel, living in the land of Israel is not a picnic. It's a challenge. It's difficult. It isn't just because God tells us we're going to have this thing, does not mean it's going to be smooth sailing all the time. And let's face it, we did not have Israel for 2,000 years. And even today, it's a tremendous challenge to Israel. It's the only country in the whole world where there's the discussion of whether or not Israel has a right to exist. No one says that about Canada, Britain, any other country, a right to exist. Israel, all of a sudden, there's these politicians, they think they're such tzaddikim, they think they're so wonderful and fantastic when they acknowledge Israel's right to exist. Woohoo! You wouldn't think of that with anyone else. And so, and really pressing the point with what's going on now, this election coming up in New York, where the front runner of the most Jewish city outside of Israel, he doesn't think that there should be a Jewish state. So the point here is that don't get surprised when there's a challenge to Israel's existence and to living in Israel. The Talmud says that there are three things that are koneh, three things that we acquire through Yisur and through a lot of work and difficulty. Olam haba, the next world, Talmud Torah, study of Torah, and Eretz Yisrael, the land of Israel. So we have to just acknowledge and recognize from the very first stories, from the get-go, from the beginning, with the very first Jew, living and holding on and fighting for Israel, it's just that. It's a fight. It's a challenge. It's something that, it's not Hawaii, that we have to recognize and realize that, yes, we got to fight for Israel's existence. Living in Israel is never easy as well, but we got to fight for it no matter what. So don't get surprised by that. It's a challenge. All we have to do, the only thing that God expects from us, is to live up to that challenge and fight for Israel and fight for what's right, because ultimately, yes, it was promised to Avraham, it was promised to Yitzchak, it was promised to Yaakov, it is promised to the Jewish people. but we still gotta make every effort to make sure that that is the homeland of our people. Have a good Shabbat.